when you're speaking, you want to capture your attentions of the audience quickly. You want to capture the attention of the audience quickly. How do you do that? How do you make sure when you're out there on stage you really have the attention of the audience? How do you make that happen? It's a challenge every speaker faces. And different speakers have different ways to deal with it. Most speakers kind of go out there and they talk about, well, here's what I'm going to talk about, and here's how things are going to go, and it just doesn't work. And maybe you've experienced this. Right at the very beginning, there's something that's like a disconnect. And you know, this isn't working. And if you think of the audience's attention as being like this, you notice the audience's attention just starts to kind of go down and down and down. You keep talking. Maybe you talk faster, hoping to get better. And the attention keeps going down and down and down until it hits the ground and just keeps on going. And you're given a subterranean speech. If you ever had that happen, or had something like that happen, you know at the very beginning, if you lose that audience attention, it's a disaster. So what do? Well, that's where the 3 T's come in. There are 3 distinct steps you do at the very beginning of your speech that make sure that your speech has the effect you want it to have, that pulls people in and gets people involved. And it deals with the 3 phases of your speech. Because right at the very beginning, the audience is thinking about all sorts of things. If you've ever been in a speech audience, an audience where a speech is being given, you know that feeling right before. You're like, oh, okay, well, the speaker's going to come on. Oh, they're talking now. Oh, I got to get this cell phone call. Okay. Man, look at these chairs. These are interesting chairs. Wow. Oh, look at this program. Very nicely done. Hey, let me read ahead of some of the other things going on at this event. If you've ever been in the audience, you know your attention is scattered all over the place. So that's a challenge there. And then, speaking starts, okay, you know, fine, great. You're like, well, all right, okay. All right, I get the point, yeah. Okay, let's move on. Your audience wants to move on, and you barely began speaking. You just dumped everything out, and they're ready to go. It's like, okay, got it, fine. Let's go, move on. Something else. That can happen very quickly and very easily, and all of a sudden it's like, pfft. Then your audience attention starts to go, wait a minute, I thought I had the audience attention. Well, you didn't keep it. Even if you don't have it at the beginning, if you do have it at the beginning, it goes away. And then at the end, it's like, okay, fine, enough of that stuff. Boom, this is it. I'm going to talk about this. You know, I'm just thinking, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. No big deal. Talk all the way you want, speaker person. I don't care. And you can see it in their eyes as you look out. Eyes kind of glazed over, checking their iPad, phones. Again, it happens because the 3 T's aren't there. Once you have the 3 T's, then things start to settle down. At the very beginning, it's like, oh, okay. All right, yeah. Think about that. So right at the very beginning, it's not that awkwardness. It flows better because you have the first T. Once you take care of that. Then with the second T, it's like, oh, okay, yeah. All right, You know, it's just kind of like hanging on every word. Because you got that second T that's so important. And then the third T, where the rubber hits the road, when we get the third T down, then it's like, all right, I'm with you. Yeah, okay. Take me there. And it's amazing. But it happens once you have this process of these 3 T's. So today you're going to learn about the 3 T's. Do at the very beginning, how it develops and transforms you and takes your speech to a whole new level right from the very beginning. It starts with the first T. Now the first T is something that if you don't have it, right from the very beginning, your audience is thinking, okay, yeah, all right, yeah. And you've seen that. They're on their cell phones, they're doing different things, they're looking different places, and they're thinking, oh, this just really isn't for me. I don't know. Maybe somebody else, but not really for me. And if most of your audience is thinking, this speech isn't for me, you've got a problem. A big problem. It's that importance of that first T, the first step in this three-step process. It's so crucial. You have to really get. And it requires some awareness, it requires some research, it requires some work to really get that first T and make sure it happens. And that T is to tap. To tap. By tap, I don't mean just tapping like this. It's one way to tap. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about tapping in the sense of like tapping a keg. Like tapping a vein. Like tapping into your audience. Tapping into your audience's world. Now, this method of 3 T's comes to you from a speaker who actually won a world championship contest in speaking, Craig Valentine. And the one thing Craig talks about, the one thing you realize as a speaker, the importance of tapping into the audience world. So right from the very beginning, you're going to say things that your audience thinks are relevant. You're going to think, okay, yeah, all right, that matters to me. Definitely. That's important to me. I was thinking, yeah, that's relevant. I care about that. Happens to most speakers at the very beginning, the audience decides, no, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me, whatever. Tell it to somebody else, I'm not listening. And then you don't tap into their world and everything just kind of falls apart from there. Now to tap into the world, you have to understand your audience. You have to have done some work on your audience, really thinking about your audience. What are their needs? What are their interests? Who are they? What do they care about? Sometimes if you've got a conference, it's pretty simple. Because everybody at that conference is all caring about the same thing, all about the same thing. That's great. But if you're just giving a free speech, even then, you got to figure out. Sometimes it's just as simple as asking a question and getting some sort of a response. Have you ever thought about auto mileage? Do you have a car? Do you take the L? Questions like that at the very beginning can help you understand, okay, this is the part of the audience that's in it. This is the part of the audience I have to deal with that's not in it, but I got to somehow make in it. Right from the very beginning, you can tap into their world, which means that the broader that opening, the broader and more inclusive that opening, will be relevant to everybody in the audience, or most of the people in the audience, the better off you are. Tapping into their world is simply saying, okay, this is important to you, right? Just care about this. And that's key. To get your audience to care about your speech, to be interested in your subject because it's their subject. Because every speech isn't about you, it's about your audience. Every speech is about your audience out there. You're giving speeches to better your audience, to better your audience's lives, to better their existence. By tapping into their world, by tapping into the audience world right from the very beginning, you show, hey, it's not about me, it's about you. It's all about you. Audience first. Audience first. Right at the very beginning of your speech, put that audience first in some way. And say things that they care about, that are relevant to them, that are entirely focused on them and their own experiences and their own world. So they think, okay, so far I can buy that. Yeah, this is relevant. That makes sense. That's the reality I deal with. That's what I know about. Tapping into their world. And tapping into their world is just one part of this three-step process. And the second step is really important, and a lot of speakers leave it out. But you don't want to do that. So once you tapped into their world, you really need to start bringing up that second T. The second step is something that most speakers don't do. Don't pay any attention to. And the problem happens is that the audience is hearing things, they're like, okay, I get it. You just kind of drop it on them, boom, they get it. And that's it. Like, okay, I got it, fine. All right, we're done. So if you just lay your points out, boom, and they get it, the audience is kind of mentally checked out. Maybe you've done this before at a speech where you kind of got it at the very beginning and you're like, okay, I get it. Fine, I'm done. That's it. Now, maybe you want to hear a few more details, maybe you don't, but there's no real reason to hear the rest of that speech because you got it right there. However, once you understand the second T, you're thinking, oh, tell me more. Tell me more. The second T is to tease. To tease. Now, once you tap into their world, that's great. Then you want to tease. You want to tease to get them kind of a little bit deeper, a little bit further in, a little bit more thinking about, oh, okay, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Tease to please. Tease to please. Very simple, very powerful. So all you want to do is tease. Because if you give a little bit of a tease, all of a sudden, all the audience can think about is, okay, what's going to happen next? Where's this going to go? And that's why in writing, the cliffhanger is such a powerful way to write. And a cliffhanger, if you don't know, is simply where at the end of a section of the book, there'll be something left unresolved, some really important plot point left unresolved at the end of the chapter. And you'll have to read the next chapter to find out what's going to happen next. And one author who's just a master of the cliffhanger is Dan Brown. Dan Brown, you might know him through the Da Vinci Code, which is made into a movie. Originally it was a book. It was just a book of cliffhangers, where he's all the way through and he gets to the end and he thinks, boy, this is really important. I now understand exactly the meaning of why that pyramid looks that way. And you're thinking, did I miss something? Did he explain earlier why the pyramid looked that way? Why did the pyramid look that way? Drives you crazy. So you got to go to the next chapter. And the reason the pyramid looked that way was because, and you say, oh, okay. And you kind of calm down, all right, I get it. And in the next chapter, you keep on going, say, but that's not really as important as this other point. What's that point? All the way through the book. You're kind of led to the cliff, and then boom, you fall off that cliff, and boom, you fall off another cliff, and it just keeps going. Or you could say you go up to the cliff, and you fall off the cliff, you climb your way back on, and you fall off another cliff. It keeps on moving all the way through because it's a tease, a massively effective tease. So this three-step process. First, tap your audience, yes, but then tease. Tease them a little bit. Don't just give the whole thing away. Don't just say, oh, this is everything I'm going to talk about. Here are my main points. Bing, 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 bing. That's fine. Let me talk about some more. It's like, hey, we got your main points. We get it. We don't need to have any more of that. We're done. Now that's fine if you've got a typical brief summary you want to give. No problem. Here are my main points. Bing, bing, bing. Done. But if you want to have a 20-minute talk, a 30-minute talk, a 40-minute talk, you're going to need to have a little bit more stuff than just here are my points. Because then there's nothing to say. But if you tease, here's what I'm going to say, what's going to be coming up next, you're just thinking, oh, I want to be around for that. I want to pay attention to that. There's something there. You aren't just waiting. You've given them a cliffhanger, and they're waiting for you to resolve that issue so they can kind of go on. And then, going on, you'll tease some more. But right at the very beginning, put in that tease so they know, oh, this is something different. This talk is going to be different. This talk will be interesting. This talk I'm going to have to really pay attention to find out what's going on. And once you tease, that third step wraps everything up and really brings you to the heart of your speech. All right. Tapped into their world. They're really with you right from the very beginning. It's a great feeling. Then you start to tease. You tease them a little bit. You're like, what's going on? What's going to happen next? What's happening next? And a lot of speakers just stop there. It's like, okay, I tap, I tease, great, no problem, and then boom, that's it. All right, we'll get to my stuff. Here's my stuff. It's like, poof, shoves in the audience. Okay, here's my stuff for you. And the audience thinks, whoa, I don't want this stuff. Forget it, no. So there's got to be a third T. A third T, a way to get the audience to get interested in that stuff. Sort of teasing, sure. But you just throw everything at them, like saying, well, I don't know if I want this or not. That's too much stuff. And that third T that's so crucial is to transport. To transport. Now, this method of world champion speaker Craig Valentine starts with tapping. Tapping into your audience, being aware of your audience, and then teasing. Giving a little hint of what's going to happen next, and then finally to transport. The mistakes most speakers make is at this point they tap, okay, tap, they got the audience attention, tease, here's the things that are going to be coming up, all right, and then they just say, boom, here's my stuff. But they don't transport it. Because the audience point of view is like, okay, I know this stuff, and okay, this could be interesting, but now you're going to suddenly shove me into your world, what's going on with your world? Hey, it doesn't have anything to do with me. So you have to transport. To find a way to get the audience from where they are to where you are, you need to transport them over. Some sort of transition, something that gets them from here over into here. And the simplest thing is if you're similar to the audience, you can say, just as you have these situations, so I have these situations. You know about this? I'll tell you, I had the same experience, and here's what happened. So you transport the audience. A simple way is if you're alike, great. Just, hey, we're all alike here. We're going to find out something more about this connection. Or if suddenly the audience sees you as maybe way up here, hey, I used to be like you. All right, at the very beginning, you draw that connection. Okay, here's where you are. You see me as here, but actually, hey, we're really very similar. Very similar. And you want to draw that connection because if you're similar to someone, automatically you think that, well, their experiences then will be relevant and relate to mine. When you transport the audience into your world, you're also thinking, okay, all right, I get it. So when you tell your story, when you go through your stuff, this will be relevant to the type of experience I have. The sort of things you learn, you discover, you find out, you grow from, is the sort of things I can learn, develop, and grow from. Because we're similar. The mistake a lot of speakers make is they talk so much about, I'm so great, and I'm so wonderful, I'm way up here, you know, you're way down there. And it's just like, yeah, you're right, you're way up there. I'm way down here. So, what have you got to teach me? I don't live in that world. That's what you need to transport. Get the audience in their world and then say, look, I live in the same world. Things I did, you can do it because we have this connection. Make that connection very clear. Transport them all the way over them. Now that means at the very beginning, you better tap into something in their world that you're going to talk about in your speech. So that's why your speech needs to be relevant to your audience. If you transport them in there, hey, if they're looking around and saying, this is nothing like my world, forget about it. It has nothing to do with me. No way. If you're an Olympic swimmer, and there's a person who, you know, can't swim at all, or thinking like, you're an Olympic swimmer, I can't swim. There's no connection. So you're an Olympic swimmer, I can't swim at all. There's no way we're going to get together on this. So you want to draw that connection of tapping into their world in a way that allows you to transport them into what's going on. Maybe you struggle to swim. Before you became an Olympic swimmer, that would relate to somebody who doesn't swim. That'll connect everything together. And that's all about transport. All right, to wrap things up, Three-step process, the very beginning of your speech to get your audience involved. And the first thing is tapping. Tap into their world, into what they're doing right now, right then, right what's happening. You want to make sure that that's relevant to your speech, but most important, your speech should be relevant to your audience. Because your speech is not about you. Your speech is for your audience. It's about your audience. It should involve your audience and their world and what they're doing and help them build, develop, and grow in some way. So your speech has to really hit the audience. Audience first. Right at the beginning of your speech. A mistake most speakers make is they focus so much on themselves that they forget about the audience. Tap into the audience right at the very beginning. Say, here's your world. I understand your world. Have you ever had this? Ask them questions. Questions to connect with their world and what's going on. Audience first. And once you've tapped into their world, then you can start to tease a little bit. Start to tease. Tease just a little bit about, hey, there's the things you're going to find out coming up next. Get to that in a little bit, but the things further down the road. Because otherwise, what happens is, and many speakers do this, they say, okay, here's all the stuff, boom, boom, boom. I'm just like, okay, I got the stuff. That's it, I'm done, I'll go. No, make them wait for it. Also, if they wait for it, they'll value it more. If they wait for it, they'll value it more. It's a great thing about teasing. So they're waiting for it and waiting for it. Boom, I got it. Oh, okay, I finally got it. Just remember Dan Brown, success with books like The Da Vinci Code. Create those cliffhangers. Really tease your audience along before you give them a little bit, and then tease them some more. And finally, transport. Transport from where they are to where you are. Somehow there has to be some connection between the things. So there has to be some sort of similarity, something that's alike. As a speaker, you want to be like your audience in some way. The whole idea is, we're alike. You and I, we're alike. We have these experiences. We share these experiences. The things I learned and developed in my own stories are the things you can relate to directly in your own life. So all those things you tap into at the very beginning, the way you really get the audience involved at the very beginning. Then you go to your own story. You transport them to your story. That's powerful. Very powerful, because then the audience is transporting the story and they're part of it and it's like, oh, great. We're like everything that happens in the story happens to you. I can understand, I can learn from. That's really great. And once you get that three-step system of tap, teasing, and transporting, then you have a whole new experience when you get out there on stage. You get out there on stage, you get this whole new sense of confidence, of certainty about what you're doing. Because right at the very beginning, you can feel that audience really involved from the very beginning when you're tapping into their world. Then the more involved as they tease in. Then as you're transporting, you feel, you've got it. That's what owning the stage is all about. That confidence, that connection with the audience. When you feel that, it's just a rush through you. And you quickly make that connection. You tap, tease, and transport, those three things. You get that down at the beginning, and boom, you're off and running in your speech. Instead of worrying about, oh, the attention going down and losing, you won't lose it. Because right at the very beginning, you established, okay, I'm with you, I'm interesting, and this stuff really relates to you. It's really going to work for you. Because we're just so much alike. And that creates that quick, instant connection with the audience. Once you have that, then it's easier to just create those speeches on the fly, create those speeches when you need them, because you tap, tease, transport, get those three things down, boom, then you've got something. Then you've got something that works. And when that happens, hey, you're comfortable up here. Your blood pressure goes down, your life satisfaction goes way up. You start to realize that your own life, your own stories, all those things out there really do matter. And you feel that sense of fulfillment, helping others build and develop and grow in their lives because your speeches are effective and they're really having an effect on your audience. So if you want to give great speeches, right from the very beginning, remember the 3 T's. tap, tease, and transport.